All right, so by now you guys should have the AIM in your notebooks exactly as it's written here, AIM 5.3, and you should be able to answer this question by the end of the class. That's the idea. So what are the 12 tables of Rome and how did they influence modern society? So away we go. All right, I will give you a second and then we will go over it. Okay, so a lot of the stuff on this slide here is stuff that we just kind of talked about in the intro, but some of the highlights are it's established. This is the law code established under the Roman Republic. The idea is to govern life with fewer, more concise laws. Now, it's called the 12 Tables, but like I said, I just want to reiterate this. This does not mean that there's only 12 laws. Essentially what they're saying is that there's 12 different categories of laws and there's many laws within those categories, but it was a new way to kind of simplify this and codify it. So this part here is the important part. The Roman system of law is the basis for developed Western law systems. Okay, that's important to know, especially with, as far as what the state of New York says we should know about this. This is the big one here. So if you learn anything from this AIM, let it be this detail here. The Roman system of law is the basis for developed Western law systems. So you could put a little star or underline it or circle it or something like that in your notes so that you know that this is kind of the big major takeaway here. Codified law is considered one of ancient Rome's greatest contributions to history and the modern world. Spoiler alert, at the end of this unit, I will show you some practice multiple choice questions that New York State has used in the past. And this is these two kind of things are a recurring theme in a lot of the questions that they ask. So it's important that you guys understand that. So just to kind of show you what some of them look like, if a man is summoned to court, he had to go. If he did not, thereafter, he could be seized and brought to court by force. This is like the power of subpoena. Right. So we have this in American law. If you are subpoenaed, you have to appear. It was deemed legal if a thief was killed in the act of theft. So if someone's stealing from your house and you shoot them, you're protecting your own property, right? That's a law in America. If anyone defrauded another by not returning what was given to him for safekeeping, he would have to pay twice the amount in penalty. So like borrowing something and never giving it back. But there's also some indicators here about their society, right? Like, look at this. A female was to remain under the guardianship of a man, irrespective of her age. And this is something that we see, it's kind of gross, but it's something that we see throughout history, is that women, when they're young, are under the control of their father, and they remain under the control of their father until they're married. And once they're married, they are under the control of their husband. And if and when the husband dies, they are then under the control of their oldest son. So it's like, I wanted to add that because it kind of shows, kind of what's happening there, right? And you could see no laws or our judgments were to be made in favor of individuals to the detriment of others, irrespective of their rank and status. So basically what they're saying is this is equality before the law. And this is another kind of popular idea that's apparent in American law also. So I wanted to show you some of the laws that where we can see the influence of Rome in modern Western law, and also some of these laws will give us a peek behind the curtain as to what society in the Roman Republic was really like. Okay, last slide. I'll give you guys a second here. So while you finish up, this is some important vocabulary that we need to know, as we, think about some of these laws. There are two different, and you saw this yesterday or last period, excuse me, in the government infographic. They make mention of these words, patrician and plebeian. Patricians are wealthy, landowning, high-class citizens, and then plebeians are commoners, lower-class working citizens. So even though the word citizen is kind of a big word that they use to kind of classify a lot of different people, within that class of citizens, there is still some stratification there. There is a high class and there is a low class. So it's important for you to know these words because these words are often used in, an explanation of how these laws are applied. And they're also used in a lot of the questions that New York State uses to ask you about these laws. For example, one of the ways that they present this stuff is marriage between a patrician and a plebeian is prohibited. What does this indicate about Roman society? That's an example of a question that they ask where it uses these vocabulary questions. And the answer to that question is some form of, class divisions existed in Rome. But we need to know what patricians and plebeians means in order to answer that question. So I certainly wanted to provide to you that explanation for sure. So I'll leave this up here for another second in case anyone is late kind of copying down the definition.